So welcome everybody to Cybercrime Junkies. I am your host, David Morrow. In the studio today is the Mark Mosher, my always positive co-host and fantabulous, according to my insincere things to say to coworkers app, and security researcher Logan Potberg joins us as well. Gentlemen, how are you?
Oh, well. Interesting turn of events in the last 48 hours or so.
Yeah, so this is going to be a quick episode because it's breaking news, and we just wanted to kind of explain it to everybody. Typically, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but typically the cybercrime gangs that are launching ransomware and doing these cyber attacks have had rules.
Yep.
They've had some rules. They've had similar to mafia
rules of engagement.
Mafia rules.
Unspoken rules.
Yeah, it's like rules of
honor among thieves.
And ALPHAV, which is BlackCat, they're the number 2 most prolific gang beside Lockbit. And the FBI has been taking them down, and then they've been re-seizing their information. Then they took them down, and they grabbed the decrypt keys, giving it to victims. It's an ongoing battle. It's still going on today. But the point is they have now issued on their dark web channels, all rules are gone. Go after hospitals, go after nuclear power plants, go after critical infrastructure.
So stay tuned, buckle up. This reads like a James Bond script, but it's all real and it's all happening right now.
Yeah, unbelievable. So as always, this is Cybercrime Junkies, and now the show. Come join us as we dive deeper behind the scenes of security and cybercrime today, interviewing top technology leaders from around the world and sharing true cybercrime stories to raise awareness. From the creators of Vigilance, the newest global technology newsletter, translating cyber news into business language we all understand. So please help us keep this going by subscribing for free to our YouTube channel and downloading our podcast episodes on Apple and Spotify so we can continue to bring you more of what matters. This is Cybercrime Junkies, and now the show. All right, welcome everybody. We are in the studio today. I'm David Morrow. In the studio today is Mark Mosher. We're researching and following in dark web feeds and some other social feeds and news outlets about the recent BlackCat takedown by the FBI. BlackCat, as you will recall, was a leading ransomware gang, second only really this last year to Lockbit, and they were involved in the ransomware component along with Scattered Spider of taking down the MGM and Caesars breach.
Yep.
Here, you're able to see that just in the last hour, there's news reports. There's hundreds of them, but we checked out Bleeping Computer. The FBI disrupts the BlackCat ransomware operation and creates decryption tools to provide the data back to the victims. This is massive, right? Department of Justice announced today that the FBI was successful in breaching ALPHAV, which is BlackCat. And BlackCat is interesting because it's a ransomware that's written in Rust, which is a new code format, which is very easy and trendy to use. So it's pretty interesting. But they were able to not only breach ALPHAV's infrastructure, but they were able to disrupt their entire ransomware operations and monitor their activities in order to obtain the decryption keys and provide those for victims. On December 7th, Bleeping Computer is one of the first to report that ALPHAV, also known as BlackCat, all of their websites. So these cybercrime gangs have websites on the dark web, right, Mark? And they have leak sites and they have Tox channels on the dark webs, which are encrypted dark web communications where when you get hit with ransomware in the real world, right, you have to download the Tor browser and then go to the dark web and communicate with these criminals. But things have heated up, and it's getting really bad. There's a running
to say the
issue
least
with cybercrime gangs, and that is they typically stay away from certain targets, right, Mark? Like they don't go after nuclear power plants. They don't go after healthcare, children's hospitals, things like that. There's just a thing because they
don't go after healthcare. They don't go after children's hospitals.
And the reason they do that is then, they don't get targeted as much necessarily by law enforcement, because law enforcement they have limited resources and they have to focus on the ones that are truly doing the most damage. Well, apparently all that has changed. So ALPHAV admins, so ALPHAV, their admin claimed at first that it was a hosting issue.
Been a tough couple days for BlackCat.
Computer and others in the
It's been a tough couple days.
Learned that it was related. It was related to law enforcement operation. And then just today, and this was just released about 50 minutes ago, and it is Wednesday, December 20th at 11:15 Eastern. The Department of Justice confirmed that they had actually taken down ALPHAV, and they conducted a law enforcement operation that allowed them to gain access to ALPHAV's infrastructure. With that access, the FBI silently monitored the ransomware operation for months while siphoning decryption keys. That's huge.
They developed they found 400 victims. They developed the decrypt key and sent it to them. So you got to think, if BlackCat, if they were just doing, I don't know, $1 million per victim, that's 400 million they're out of. And they were asking for a whole lot more than that per victim, and they lost it all. So what did they do? They come right back and issue the proclamation that the gloves are off. What did they say, David? I think we've even got a screenshot that you can now go after anybody, anywhere, anytime, except critical infrastructure. Well, I guess that's where they draw the line.
Oh yeah, but because there's honor.
Right.
The Bleeping Computer article right now, it gives a conservative number. They say the encryption keys allowed the FBI to help 500 victims, and a lot of these are smaller SMBs as well, right? Which is $100,000, $200,000, $500,000. But it allowed the FBI to help 500 victims recover their files for free, saving at a minimum of $68 million in ransom demands. That's phenomenal, right? So let's get to some of these.
Where's their proclamation? It's almost like a tit for tat. Like, the FBI got us, we denied it, we tried to save face, they proved us wrong, they gave out the decrypt key, they took money from us. Now we're telling the affiliates you can take the gloves off. And this is all within, a very, very short period of time. Yep. Some of this just happened last night. Some of it just happened today.
See this? Let me make this a full screen and zoom in.
Yeah, there we go.
So walk us through this. So this is something from the dark web. And it says, as you know, the FBI got the keys to our blog. So this is from the heads of BlackCat, the ones that have been in the news all year long. And it says, now we'll tell you how it was. I really should do this in like a Russian accent, don't you think? Like, first, how it all happened. After examining the documents, we understood that they gained access to one of the DC, the domain controllers, because the other DC was untouched. It turns out that they somehow hacked one of our hosters. Maybe even he himself helped them. So they think one of their inside guys flipped on them. So that's interesting.
It turns out that's the rumor going around. Is that it was an inside job.
The federal government has a $10 million reward for anybody leading to takedown of the Klopp ransomware gang, Lace Tempest. So, but now we're focused here on BlackCat. So possibly something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So BlackCat is saying the maximum.
Well, there you go. Look at line number 9.
Last month and a half.
That's where they take the gloves off.
Worth of keys in the last month and a half. Just shows you how big their operations. It's about 400 companies, but now more than 3,000 companies will never receive their keys because of the FBI. Because of their actions, we are introducing new rules, or rather removing all the rules except one. You cannot touch the CIS. The critical infrastructure systems. Do they mean of BlackCat? I think they might.
Critical. No, they're talking about, this is like a proclamation to their affiliates as well as a external communique, but they're saying anything is a potential target except critical infrastructure, like the power grid, water supply, things like that. But they even say, look, you can now go after hospitals, nuclear power plants. Serious? Really?
Yeah, look at that. Hey, Logan, welcome. So we were just reviewing the recent news that just came across the wires with Bleeping Computer and hundreds of others. Well, we focused on the Bleeping Computer article that talked about the battle going on between the FBI and BlackCat, and how over the last week they've been taken down. Now they're back up, then they're taken down. And we got some threads from the dark web and some things posted on certain social media by groups that are talking directly to this, and we're sharing those. So what BlackCat just said is, because the FBI took down our infrastructure, they're now introducing new rules for their
removal of rules.
And the new rules are they're removing all rules, meaning the rules about you can't go after water treatment plants, you can't go after nuclear sites, you can't go after children's cancer hospitals. All those rules are gone. Okay. Yeah, except one, you can't touch the CIS, the critical infrastructure. You can now block hospitals, nuclear power plants, anything and anywhere.
Didn't they hit a nuclear power plant in like Nevada or New Mexico? Like there was a government agency.
I don't know.
I thought there was.
I don't know, because I don't know that was BlackCat, because BlackCat's up there with Lockbit, and usually, you know, the ones that have the most power kind of tend to have these kind of wars, you know. Like
speaking of other gangs,
think of like the Geneva Convention.
Now it turns out, David, didn't we see from one of our intel feeds that Lockbit is now trying to pilfer affiliates of BlackCat? Like you guys have been exposed. You're not going to be effective. You're on the radar. Come work for us.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. So look at this too. BlackCat's now paying affiliates 90% of what they get.
Yeah, they're pissed.
90%. That's bigger than any of the other ones. That's a lot. So we do not give any discounts to companies. Payment is strictly the amount that we specified. So no negotiation. All gloves
it's going to
are
be
off.
ugly.
VIP advertisers, that's what they call their affiliates. VIP advertisers receive their private affiliate program, which we raise only for them on a separate domain controller, completely isolated from each other. Thank you for your experience. We will take into account our mistakes and work even harder. Waiting for your whining in chat rooms and requests to make discounts, but that no longer exists. So VX Underground, which
there it is. There we go.
Viewers and listeners to follow on Twitter. VX Underground is a research group that goes on the dark web and has access to all these cybercrime gangs. And they note, and this was 13 hours ago, and again, this is Wednesday, December 20th at 11:20 a.m. Eastern. We spoke with Lockbit Ransomware Group administrative staff. This is the group that John DiMaggio speaks directly with, that we talk about quite a bit. And they asked them about the ALPHAV, the BlackCat situation. Lockbit believes that what happened to ALPHAV is unfortunate, and the FBI does pose a considerable threat to his organization as well, to Lockbit. And then they released this image. It's been translated from Russian to English.
It's getting better every episode.
Is my impression getting better, comrade? All right. What is your opinion about the? Sorry, everybody. I'll go back. What's your opinion about the current situation with ALPHAV? Do you think the FBI poses a threat? I think the situation is unfortunate. The FBI certainly poses a threat to me. This is the head of Lockbit, the number one cybercrime ransomware gang on the planet today. Okay, so if you thought that John Gotti had power or the mafia had power, they pale in comparison.
Imagine being a global crime.
These guys do this at scale globally. Yes, like Al Capone had.
You're not
nothing
big in one of the five boroughs. You're known globally.
Yeah. So Smelly VX, that must be his
awesome.
Tox or his encrypted channel username. That's awesome. The document shows that they had an undercover agent posing as a partner, an affiliate, to gain access to the panel. Then, having gained access to the panels, they hacked them. Does this bother your organization? You can only imagine what Lockbit says. Lockbit says, of course, this worries my organization. Access to my dashboard is just as easy. I've always been convinced that vulnerabilities are the main threat to my security and a threat to my business. Again, they view this.
Did you catch the irony in that
as
statement?
we've reported before.
The main threat to my business as far as cybersecurity is the vulnerabilities. What do we tell clients all the time?
Yeah.
You need to understand your vulnerabilities.
Yeah. So Lockbit's worried about
their cybersecurity.
Lockbit's worried. Yeah, maybe they need a managed SIM,
managed vulnerability service, something like that. Right?
The real issue is clearly BlackCat didn't have tabletop exercises and an incident response plan.
They weren't prepared,
right? Like if they would have listened to us, they would have been more prepared. Sorry, except that we're on the side of the good guys, so we're not doing that for them. So, okay. The document shows, of course, that worries. We have seen the fall of our evil, right? Revel, Conti, Hive, which happened earlier this year, the one that was taking down the healthcare.
Yeah.
The Ragnar Locker, Breached, Red Forums, Quackbot, Trickbot, Raccoon Stealer, Darkside, right? Black Matter.
They were around not long ago.
A lot of those guys.
They came from Conti, didn't they?
Are evil. Darkside and Black Matter, a lot of those guys are part of ALPHAV now. It's not like they disappeared, right? Unless they hit a Russian entity, they don't disappear. These guys are just rebranded.
Unless you get recruited to go work for the government.
Yeah, exactly.
That mandatory recruitment.
Yeah.
Right, where they have 100% acceptance rate.
So, yes, exactly. So why do you believe that you didn't fail? You didn't fall? He's asking Lockbit that. He says, I can fall just like anybody else. It's not scary to fall. It's just scary to not get up. If you were hacked by the FBI, would you rebrand or would you continue Lockbit operations?
And it's a really good interview. This is a really
underground. This is really good interview. Thank you for this. It's making a good podcast.
Like, if you have the chance to speak to the head of Lockbit, like, you can get
Smelly's he's right on with his questions. Smelly VX.
Smelly VX has got. He's money, man. He said, "Would you rebrand or would you continue as Lockbit?" I mean, they bought the shirts.
I almost got the tattoo.
They got the cups.
John DiMaggio almost paid me $2,000 to get the tattoo.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, they did. Lockbit had a tattoo.
I missed it. That closed before I could take part, but
rewards.
DiMaggio said he would still pay me if I would get that tattooed across my chest. It was like this close.
Yeah, and I doubled the offer because I want to see it. So, but you know what's going to happen? Mosher's going to have a Lockbit tattoo put on, and then instantly they're going to rebrand to be like,
they'll be like
Drunk Panda. They're going to be like some other name, and then he's going to have to like exit out. It's like putting some ex-girlfriend on there, and then he's got to exit out. So the head of Lockbit says, I've never thought about it, but I think I would rebrand. I wouldn't rebrand. Strike that. He said, I've never thought about it, but I think I would not rebrand. Signature analysis works too well. I won't be able to change my behavior even if I try very hard. The rebranding will be revealed, and therefore it won't make any sense. Mm-hmm. So I guess I'll continue operations under my current
These guys are like marketing gurus or something? Wow.
Have you taken any action to strengthen your defenses after the Alpha attack? We got a call. They want to do an incident response plan.
Yeah, what action does he get?
Vulnerability management. He's got a meeting with Kando.
Well, see, and what they're alluding to also is that the affiliates have their own panel. So you could potentially, you could breach an affiliate and obviously find a way back to their DC and somehow get in there. Yeah. So the good guys are catching up, man. This is encouraging. The good guys are catching up. Score one for the home team.
Look at this. Lockbit goes, yes. Yeah. And this is a great win for the home team. So Lockbit says, yes, hacking my competitors motivates me very well to enhance security. So VX Underground says, updated, and this was 15 hours ago, updated United States government versus ALPHAV ransomware group. The FBI has again re-seized ALPHAV's old website. ALPHAV then took it back. It's been seized again and then unseized 4 times today. So this
there it is. Lockbit Ransomware Group is now trying to poach ALPHAV developers and affiliates.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That.
After Smelly just gave him a shout out too. Man, really? Is there no no love among
and look at this meeting. ALPHAV versus FBI, and then VX Underground's there doing a bong, like watching. It's bizarre. Here's another one from earlier yesterday. So that would have been Tuesday, December 19th. Summary of the United States government and associated entities versus ALPHAV ransomware group, December 10th.
Yeah, that's when they took it down.
ALPHAV primary domain goes, so here's the timeline. So December 10th, ALPHAV primary domain goes offline. The administration of ALPHAV of BlackCat says that it was a hardware failure. Yeah. They're fine. Later on that day, rumors circulate that it was law enforcement that took them down. Then the next day, ALPHAV denies those allegations. They say it wasn't law enforcement. We're good. Everything's fine. Remember,
they were like, if you got to say you're good, then you're not good.
Yeah, it's not. We're back. Right. And then a whole 8 days later, they're still not back up. The whole 8 days later, the domain is seized again. Okay. So
they were like, that was the old one. It doesn't matter.
Yes. ALPHAV says, no, that's the old domain. It doesn't matter. Okay. Then later on that morning, a couple hours later, the United States Department of Justice releases an official statement on the seizure of ALPHAV, as well as compromising of their servers. So that was yesterday.
So now we're taking credit too.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And then later on yesterday afternoon, ALPHAV unseizes the domain and threatens retaliation against the United States and the associated entities, which means like the UK, other groups that are working alongside U.S. law enforcement, by allowing attacks against critical infrastructure. So they are allowing attacks against critical infrastructure. It's crazy. So hang on, I'm still scrolling
I think
down.
you're just going to get further back in the timeline, but that's a lot of stuff in a really short period of time. That's probably the most adverse exercises that we've seen against a cybercrime gang in quite a while, since the Our Evil takedown. I mean, just because that was public facing and everybody could watch it on TV, but
and they had the videos. You can still
and
see
now
them
they're
on
all
YouTube. It was like
now they're
typical
all working
Russian
for the
takedown, knocking on the door.
The Russian cyber
with
team
rifles.
now developing code.
So here's
That's when they
BlackCat's
said they
site
unseized
on the
it,
dark web. Yeah, this website has been unseized. Ladies and gentlemen, it says, right? We've moved here, and they have a new
don't click
link
on the link
to where you can find them. And then the rest.
Right.
click.
If you do,
trying to keep my cybersecurity friends in business.
Open the corporate
click,
VPN and then do it.
Yes, exactly. And then here's this is all in Russian, so I don't want to. I want to spare.
But this is big stuff, and there's more to come, right? Like we're not even to the holidays yet, so wait till the holidays, because we know survey says come the holidays, cybercrime really ramps up. So now that the gloves are off,
so we will continue following.
Let's see what happens next.
We poked the bear.
Yep.
Let's see what happens.
Yep. So we will continue to follow this. Thanks for the research, guys. This is awesome. And then I'm sure there will be more. So we will update, and we'll have information on this in our Vigilance newsletter. Links in the show notes. And thanks everybody for joining. This is great. Well, that wraps this up. Thanks for joining, everybody. Hope you got value out of digging deeper behind the scenes of security and cybercrime today. Please don't forget to help keep this going by subscribing free to our YouTube channel at Cybercrime Junkies Podcast, and download and enjoy all of our past episodes on Apple and Spotify podcasts so we can continue to bring you more of what matters. This is Cybercrime Junkies, and we thank you.